Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down! Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994 I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. During those times, I accumulated some good stories. I'm going to share one with y'all today. If you like the video, be sure to hit the like button, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, hit that notification bell. If you're new to the channel and you want to catch up on some of my older content, I got a lot of good stories, fight stories, prison riots, DPs, all that. Go to my YouTube playlist, scroll down, and you will see that I have my stories organized into different categories, and I guarantee you're going to find something that you like. Now, this story right here takes place around 2006. I'm coming down from a level 4 Sat F. I was at that prison. I was actually on a level 2. I ended up being charged with a sticking and being sent to the level 4 yard after I left the hole. The name of that story is Chill versus Goliath. So if you haven't seen that, I'm telling you, man, check it out. It's a great story. Anyway, I get down to a prison known as CMC East. So of course, one of the first things that I want to do is get me a knife. You know, my boy Banky Pound, he call it that Bethlehem. You know, Swahili is a Kisu. You know, yeah. So also, like the second day that I'm there, I happen to run across OG Chances. OG Chances happened to be there. Maybe about 4 or 5, maybe about a couple of weeks later, they ended up sending him to the hole. But anyway, so once I'm released to the yard, I found out it's a homie who I grew up with by the name of Roscoe. I hadn't seen him since like the early 90s. He was on B yard, but his job, I forget exactly what, if he worked on the paint crew or something, but he had one of those jobs where he could go to yard, you know, and CMC East is 4 yards. And so he could go to each yard and stuff. He was on a little crew up. He would push a little cart and stuff. And so I got at him and say, hey, homie, you know, I need me a knife, man. Something like that, you know, something where I can make me a knife or whatever. So in a couple of days, he ended up bringing me some metal and stuff that I could sharpen and make me a knife, which was cool. So I started meeting some of the homies there. It was the homie SP from 18th Street, not to be confused with the Hispanic gang or the Mexican gang 18th Street. I'm talking about 18th Street, a gang in San Bernardino. It was the homie Steve-O, little Steve-O from the Gardens, rest in peace, who passed away about a year ago, unfortunately. It was the homie Sleep from Delman Heights. It was the homie Red from Gilbert. It was a few homies there, you know, a few good homies, man. And so I'm starting to meet the homies and stuff, talking to them, so on and so forth. So in the matter of a couple of days, man, they moved me in the cell with this weirdo, man. Now, the dude's name was Al, man. Al didn't gang bang. I forget where he was from. That was his real name, Al. But the dude looked like he could have been the son of that dirty cop, Rafael Perez, you know, with the black glasses and everything. He may not have been as big as he was, but he kind of looked, well, he looked exactly like him, man. I would say Al was probably maybe about 5'9", maybe about 160, you know. And so they moved me in the cell with Al and stuff. And now Al, talking to Al, at some point in time, this dude would seem 100% normal. Then other times he would launch into these weird conversations that made me think, you know, he didn't have it all or whatever, you know. So we in the cell, we chopping it up, you know, or whatever. Now we lock up like around, I think like maybe 3:30, and they would walk by and do count at 4 o'clock, 4:15. Now when they do the count at 4 o'clock, it's a standing count, meaning just that you have to be standing. They don't want you sitting up on your bunk. They don't want you up or whatever. They want you on the floor standing. You know, I think at some point in time they was doing counting. It wasn't standing count in all California prisons, and some dude was dead in his bed or whatever. So for that reason, they come up with this standing count where you have to be physically standing, you know. So now Al, he had, it was like a bunk that connects to the wall, and it's kind of like a top bunk. Al was in that bed. He was in that bed, right? And so when they come by, you know, I get up, I stand up, you know. Al, he's just laying in his bed, wave his hand. They said, hey, man, we need you standing up. You know, he like, okay, yeah, whatever, you know. So just due to his response, I could automatically see that this dude had some type of, it seemed like some type of resentment issue, you know, with the COs or whatever, right? So the next day, same thing. Now, the cold part about too is, in a lot of these prisons, the guards working on the tiers are what's known as regulars, meaning they work that building so they can get used to, the convicts and stuff up in there. So they'll work the building 5 days a week. So, if you have a problem with a guard or whatever, the next day you see him, it's going to be the same guard. He gets to know you. He gets to feel out if he thinks you cool, problematic, he thinks you a jerk or whatever. So the very next day, same thing again, right? So the dude walks past. Now he stops. Count time. Now he's, hey, count. I'm, like I say, I'm up, I'm standing. Al, he's laying in the bed again, being difficult. Dude said, hey, man, you got to get up and stand up. So Al, this time now, he sits up, puts his feet over the edge of bed and says, hey, man, I'm up. He says, no, man, I need you standing, man. Next time, be standing, You didn't stand yesterday, and so on and so forth. Al, he says a few little things back and forth or whatever. Then the guard, he goes on. So now at this point, of course, it's my last intention in the world to ever try to tell another grown man what to do. I don't want to try to play CO, nothing like that. But I got this knife up in here. I haven't got cool with Al to the point that I'm letting Al know that I do have a knife up in there. If the police happen to come up in here and search, as they sometimes do on a regular basis, and they find a knife, I'm going to claim the knife because it's my knife. I got a nice little hiding space, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's, it's foolproof. But at the same time, I don't necessarily need the police coming up in here doing a search strictly because Al is not standing, because sometimes that's the practice of the guards, the COs, when you don't want to stand, they'll use a search as a punitive measure. Sometimes what they do, if you have one cellie who's giving them a problem or whatever, they may come in the cell and don't even search his stuff. They'll purposely search the other person, tear your stuff all up, throw your clothes on the floor, go through your property, have your property all out, pictures on the ground, your bed all messed up, unmade, everything on the floor to try to initiate a conflict between you and your cellie. And sometimes, never would I fall for a situation like that, but sometimes you had these quote unquote inmates who would fall for a situation like that, right? And get mad at they cellie, knowing that the police are intentionally trying to do this. But on the other side of the spectrum, it's also important, and it's also very, very, extremely important, I'll just say, for whoever you're doing time with in the cell, for that dude to do his time in a manner that does not cause the police to come up in there, because you already know that the police love to try to do this, right? So now I explained to Al, I said, hey, man, well, listen, man, I don't know what issue you got going on, man, but listen, I just come from a Corcoran, homie. I was in the hole, blah, 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 man, and I got some contraband up in here, that I don't want the police coming up in here and searching. So, man, listen, if you give me a few days, I'll find a place to go, because he was up in the cell first. Let me go out here and try to see if one of the homies got a spot open. That way, whatever you got going on with the police, I don't get caught up in your situation, right? So I explained that to him, man. And so he said, okay, yeah, cool. And like I said, sometimes, man, we'll sit and talk. It seemed like he would have all the sense in the world. Then other times he would launch into these unrealistic type of conversations. I remember one time, we was talking, because I asked him how much time he had. I showed him my paperwork. I asked to see his, hey, what you in here for, just to let me know that he didn't have any weird charges. He had some type of robbery, or I think assault on his family, or some type of something like that, some type of argument with his dad that got out of control or something like that. So, but anyway, at some point in time, he sit and talks about that he's innocent. His dad knows higher people in the government, and they can get him out, and just all these, well, I asked him, well, why don't they get you out? And it was, they needed some type of astronomical figure of money, but he was innocent, and his dad knew people that was, that basically had these higher up jobs in the government that could just basically get him out, according to him, But like I said, a lot of times he didn't make a whole lot of sense. And so we talking back and forth, whatever. And so now the very next day, when it's time for count, he's laying in the bed again. The guard walks past, Now the guard realizes that this dude, for whatever reason, is being difficult. And, this dude is just a jerk talking about Al or whatever, right? So, of course, now when he go by, I'm standing. Like I say, I got the knife up in there. I don't want them coming up in there searching, finding a knife or whatever. So, he comes by, the guard is like, dude, really? You're still not standing? This time, This time Al is just, he's on his elbow. He's on his elbow like this. But he's being difficult. The man has clearly explained this is a standing count. You must be out of your bed with both feet on the floor. So now Al is still laying in the bed. He's got his hand, he's on his elbow, basically with his hand up. You know, so the guard's like, dude, really? You're going to do this again? You got to be on the floor, blah, 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 blah. So, you know, Al says what he says, some smart replies and all this old type of stuff. The guard's like, okay. He walks off. So now I'm upset. I'm down there. I'm fuming because, like I say, I didn't told this dude, hey, man, I didn't tell him what it was, but I said, hey, I got some contraband up in there, man. You know, I don't want the police coming up in here and searching or whatever. So I said, hey, man, what's going on, man? I told you yesterday that I got some stuff up in here I don't want the guards messing with, blah, blah, blah. I can't exactly remember his response, but he had a smart response, and he said, hey, man, listen, I don't care if they come up in here and you go to the hole or whatever. I said, okay, that's how you feeling? Okay, don't even trip. Because now in my mind, it's like everybody that's locked up doing time, in my opinion, man, their number one enemy is administration, you know, regardless of affiliation, Crip, blood, even regardless of color, you know what I'm saying? I'm never going to take the police's side over another convict, period, whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I get down. And so, you know, like I said, at that time, I'm still caught up a lot in my criminal thinking. And I feel that as a convict, as a person locked up, he should feel the same, especially as another black dude, and especially as a person who we're in the cell together. So I said, okay, man, yeah, you don't care if I go to the hole, huh? All right, yeah, don't even trip, right? So maybe about 5 o'clock, 5:30, they let us out. We go to Chow. When we on the way back from Chow, I tell the homie, I think it was the homie Sleep from Delman Heights. We was on the same tier. I tell Sleep, hey, listen, man, I give him a brief idea of what's going on. I tell him, hey, man, I'm just going here and I'm just to bust my celly up. He got me, you know, he got me messed up. So I tell him to come down there. You know, I'm going to give you the knees eye if you take that to your cell. And then after that, I'm going to bust old boy up and come back and get it in a day or two after this stuff play out. He like, okay, don't even trip. So when we go back in there, after Chow. So I go up in there and stuff. I take the glasses off. I say, hey, man, I want to holler at you. You know, he was doing something. He had just came back from Chow, maybe brushing his teeth, or I forget exactly what he was doing, right? So he turned around, he say, hey, what's up? And so now I'm looking at him, right? I really want to bust him up. Boop, bop, boop, bop, boop. Hit him right in the face, give him that cold three-piece, no biscuit, no soda, no nothing, right? But the man got on glasses, you know. He got on glasses, on some black glasses and stuff. Like I said, he looked exactly like that dirty cop, Rafael Perez. And due to the fact that I wear glasses too, I had a little empathy for him because I wanted to turn his glasses into contacts. Boop, bop! Hit him right in them things and turn them right into contacts, right? But like I said, since I wear glasses, and I know the few times that I've gotten to fights up in there and I broke my glasses, how I'm sitting around now can't see because it's a long process to get glasses in prison, right? So that knowing all that just made me have a little bit of empathy for the dude, man. So I said, hey, man, so you don't care about me going to the hole, huh? That's how you feel? You don't care? Bam! I slapped him hard as hell right across the face. Like I said, I wanted to punch him, but I didn't want to break his glasses. So I slapped him real hard across the face. His glasses flew off his face. Bam! They hit the wall somewhere. He turned around. He said, man, who do you think you are? Some old crazy something. What was that for? Of course, he's cussing and this and that. I don't want to say all that and get my little channel, you know, don't have the video monetized or whatever. But he's cussing this and that. He said, man, who do you think you are? And this and that. Now, as he's talking, he's spent around now. He's in front of his desk. And he grabs, we have these, what's known as hot pots. They're like these plastic little pots that you can plug them up and boil water for your soups and stuff like that. He's grabbed one of those. It's empty. It's not plugged up with no water in it or nothing. But he's picked it up. He's grabbing it. He's in his hand. He's talking around. You don't know who I am and all this old type of stuff, right? So now he's talking with the pot in his hand for about 5 or 10 seconds. So I'm figuring if this dude gonna use the pot, he would have already did what he was gonna do, right? So I slide up on him close. So I'm inching my way a little closer to him because, like I said, when I slapped him, he backed up to the desk, grabbed the pot off the desk. So now as he's talking and ranting, raving, and I'm saying whatever I'm saying, hey man, yo, you know, when you disrespecting me, you told me you don't care about me going to the hole. We having this little conversation. I'm sliding up on him. I'm measuring him. I get close enough. I get off on him. Bam, boom, pop, boom. When I get off on him, he back up, and then now he tries to hit me with the hot pot. He swing the hot pot. Boom! Now when he swing the hot pot, I put my arm up. And the cells is so small, that's one thing that possibly saved me. The cells is so small that when he swung the hot pot, on the top, like the locker is stuck into the cemented into the wall, and the hot pot ricocheted off the locker. It hit the locker first, and then it hit my hand, and it flew out. It flew out my hand. It flew out his hand. So now when he do that, now he turns around. He's looking. He picks up a calculator. It's a calculator on the desk. So now I back up a little bit. He picks the calculator up and sling the calculator. The calculator go high and hit the wall real hard. Bam! You know. So when he do that, I rush him again. Boop, bop, boop. Now he hop back on the desk and he's kicking, you know. He got on these state boots and he's up on the desk. He's kicking real hard. So I'm trying to grab his foot. He kicking. I'm trying to grab his foot. So I finally grab his boot. When I grab his boot, I pull him toward me and slam him. Like I pull him off me. I pull him like toward me, and he falls off the desk, and I slam him on the ground. Bam! And now, I swear to God, I'm fit to go to work on this dude. I'm fit to introduce this dude firsthand to what Tina Turner experienced at the hands of Ike Turner. Then all of a sudden, I hear somebody yelling, "Walking, walking, walking." Now, what that means is you have, convicts who are in the cells in front of me or up above me, and because the cells will go down like in a long line. And basically, when the police would walk, sometimes the COs would walk, looking around, you'll have convicts who will yell, "Walking, walking." That lets everybody else know that the COs are on the tier. So if you're doing something you ain't got no business doing or whatever, it gives you a head up. So when he hollered "walking," I stepped back and just got up on the door. And the CO was maybe about 2 or 3 cells close by, so he's coming by. He's looking up in the cell. So now he stops in our cell. When he looks in the cell, I'm back against the door, and my celly Al is getting up off the ground, right? And so he looking around in the cell. He probably can tell we've been fighting or whatever. So he hollers up the tier, "Hey man, unlock the thing," or whatever. Unlock the grill gate bar or whatever. And so they unlock the bar. He said, "Hey man, step out." Tells me to step out. He like, "Hey, what's going on up in here?" I said, "Ain't nothing going on, man. It's all good." So he tells me to go down to the day room. He steps in. As soon as he steps in, Al is saying something. I don't know what Al is saying, right? So about 5 or 10 minutes later, he comes down there. He said, "Hey man, you and your celly ain't getting along, man." He said, "Don't worry about it, man. I got an open cell for you. I'm gonna move you down there." He said, "I know dude is a jerk or whatever," right? And so he moved me down later that day. He moved me to the empty cell by myself, and actually they ended up moving Al to D yard. Now D yard is the yard where it's like the dudes are on medication, and you have dudes over there with mental illnesses and all that old type of stuff, man. And I seen Al. I would see him periodically. The first time I seen him after that incident was maybe about 3 or 4 months later. I think I seen him at the medical, over there in the medical section, and he spoke to me like nothing had ever happened. "Hey, chill, what's going on, man? How you been, man? I'm on D yard now." And I just said, "Hey man, what's up?" But that's just a story right there, man, of being in the cell sometimes with a weirdo, man. You never know what's gonna go, how it's gonna go, who are they gonna put you in the cell with, how the dude's demeanor is, or whatever, man. But I'm telling you, man, Al got lucky, man, because I was finna to make Al write a song like "What's Love Got to Do with It," or something like Tina Turner, man. When I slammed that boy on that desk, or excuse me, when I slammed that boy, snatched him off the desk and slammed him on the ground, man, Al got lucky. But yeah, I was mad as hell. The dude was in there acting like an inmate. He was tripping, man. So anyway, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.